everyone, Simply Zoological here with a brand new project as promised. But right now, I would like to say welcome or welcome back to the channel depending on if you're new or not. Thank you for watching, and I hope you had a great holiday season and a great New Year's, depending on whatever holiday you celebrate around this time of year. I would also like to point out that at the time of me recording this voiceover, I am still currently in the process of moving. We actually have our movers coming tomorrow to pick up all of our stuff. But hopefully by the time that you are watching this video, we should be in our brand new house. But anyways, that's enough about that. Let's go ahead and talk about the speed build. So when I first decided to start a new project, which was back in September, August time, I knew I would want it to be a North American taiga zoo. However, I didn't quite know exactly how I wanted it to look, meaning I didn't know architecture style, reference photos, I didn't know any of that. I just kind of knew I wanted it to be in the North American taiga somewhere. But after much deliberation and research, I decided I wanted to use the Akron Zoo entrance because of their tall angled roof that they have as I think it's the front door that they have, where it's really tall and it has like an angle to it, and I really like that aspect. Because being in the taiga, you do tend to get a decent amount of snow. So you want angled roofs so that way the snow doesn't sit on top of your roof and eventually cause it to cave in. So I knew I wanted to use that as reference, but I didn't want to use just the Akron Zoo. I had found another inspiration picture that I wanted to use. So I kind of took the two photos and I meshed them together. So what you're seeing currently is the front entrance, and then the Akron Zoo back entrance, you could say, is what sorry, let me go back. So what you're currently seeing is the front entrance. The entrance into the actual zoo is where I use the Akron Zoo reference. So I do incorporate the Akron Zoo, which I'm very happy with, and I think it turned out amazing. But now let me go ahead and talk about the terraforming. So you might have noticed when we started this episode that the terraforming was already done. And that is because, as most of you know, I hate to terraform just because I'm better at it than I was a year ago, but I'm still not the best at it. And so it took me honestly about an hour to figure out exactly how I wanted the pathing and everything to work. Because several years ago when I watched Sparrow 838's TNS, I loved the idea of her her front entrance path where you walk up the slope and everything. I love that. And so I kind of recreate that in my own way. So you can definitely see some TNS inspiration in this front entrance and just with the foliage too. But when you're building in the North American taiga, you only have so much foliage and everything to use. So you can definitely tell where the inspiration came from and everything. But also you will see, I think it's in next week's video, you will see a fence that she made for her front entrance. I think she used it for like her staff area, the corrugated metal fence that she used. I do recreate that in my own way, so that will be in the next episode. But anyways, enough about that. I want to talk about a little bit about the zoo itself. So as I have said previously, this is a North American taiga zoo, but it's located, I had originally decided to locate it somewhere in the mountains of Colorado, but upon further research, I decided to settle for the Yukon forest of Alaska. for two main reasons, really. The first main reason was because I figured the mountains of Colorado would be a little too cold for some of the animals that we are including, and it would be too much terrain work for my current set of terraforming skills. I don't doubt that I could do it. It's just I think it would cause too much of a headache for my current set of skills that I have terraforming. So maybe we will try that at a later date. But the second reason was because my husband almost got stationed there. So we looked at loads of houses and nature just in Alaska in general. And it was absolutely beautiful all around. So I decided for those two main reasons that we would position this in I'm going to say it's in a national park in the Yukon forest. So you go to the national park in the Yukon forest, and somewhere in the national park is Shaded Pines Animal Haven. So that's a little bit about the zoo itself. And I do know that Alaska can get pretty cold, but I'll just make sure to put heaters in backstage areas for the animals that can't necessarily handle the super, super cold climates. But I believe now that we can actually move on to the details of this zoo. So, as most of you have probably seen or can tell, I have yet to use the word zoo in one of my zoos. Because personally, I just prefer animal sanctuaries, animal havens, where the animals are given usually a relatively rough backstory. And I love the idea that you can be a part of helping nature and helping animals to thrive and survive in the wild. Whether they had a hard time originally, they are doing better, and so you can then release them and everything. I love that aspect, and for that reason, I do tend to stick with sanctuaries of some sort. So, anyways, now that that's kind of been settled, I do want to tell you that we do have the overcrowding turned on, which will give us the space requirements that we need for the habitat. And then we also have the land requirement on as well, which will give us the terrain painting, whether they need too much grass, too much soil, all that sort of stuff. We have that turned on as well. And then I do, however, have the plant need turned off because I just think it's incredibly unrealistic for a zoo to cater to the animals' specific biomes depending on where they're from and everything. And so I turn that off in pretty much every zoo that I make. But anyways, now for the sanctuary's backstory, as I am currently struggling with this roof. I do want to stop really quickly, and this roof took me, I would say about an hour to figure out. And just because I knew I wanted it to be angled where, like, the Yukon Zoo entrance is, and I struggled so heavily with this roof. But let me go ahead and move on to the backstory of this zoo. So, the story begins with Alaskan conservationist and park ranger Samuel "Sam" Thorne, who spent much of his life exploring the Yukon forest, inspired by its ancient pine forests, crystalline streams, and the majestic creatures that called it home. Sam was deeply troubled by the rising threats of habitat loss and human-wildlife conflict. Determined to make a difference, he envisioned a sanctuary that could both protect vulnerable species and foster public appreciation of the region's unique ecology. In partnership with the national park, local Indigenous communities, and wildlife biologists, Sam established Shaded Pines Animal Haven. Its mission was threefold: Preservation of taiga wildlife, which includes the haven, serves as a refuge for animals displaced by natural disasters, illegal hunting, or climate-related changes such as grizzly bears, timber wolves, moose, and prairie dogs. Cultural collaboration, which is Indigenous knowledge, is woven into the haven's educational programs, offering visitors insights into the deep spiritual connection between the First Nations peoples and the Yukon wilderness. And number 3, research and rehabilitation. A team of scientists and caretakers conducts groundbreaking research on taiga ecology while rehabilitating injured animals for release back into the wild whenever possible. The name Shaded Pines reflects on the haven's serene setting within the towering pine forests that dominate the Yukon landscape. These trees, which provide shelter to countless species, symbolize the haven's protective mission. Today, Shaded Pines Animal Haven is a hidden gem for adventurers and conservation enthusiasts, where visitors can explore expansive enclosures that mimic natural habitats, including rocky outcroppings for Dall sheep, dense groves for elusive wolverines, and meadows where elk roam freely. Interactive programs allow guests to learn from rangers, Indigenous guides, and wildlife experts while experiencing the raw, untouched majesty of Alaska's wilderness. A cornerstone of the Yukon's commitment to preservation, the haven represents a harmonious blend of preservation and education, inspiring generations to cherish and safeguard one of North America's most pristine and awe-inspiring ecosystems. So, a little bit of a mouthful there, but that is the backstory behind Shaded Pines. So, like I just said, this sanctuary is going to be very heavily story-driven. So, we'll have characters and everything, as you saw. Sam Thorne, that's what I will call him because that's his nickname. And as the story progresses, more characters will be introduced and everything. But I'm really excited with this new year to start this new technique of storytelling in my zoos, as you witnessed with Saguaro Sanctuary that we just finished a couple weeks ago. We did not a full story driven, but all the animals had a backstory. And so this time I'm giving the zoo a backstory as well, which I did that with Shaded Pines as well. But I'm also incorporating characters into this one. So I'm kind of pushing myself in the story realm of storytelling. And I'm really happy with, I haven't fully finished the story yet, but we are working on it. And as new animals are introduced, the story will progress and everything else. But I am very excited for this new project. I hope you all are as well. And I will see y'all in the next one. We do have, again, very similar to Sparrow's TNS. I know she had this, I think it was like a no, because of COVID and everything, a lot of zoos now have a digital ticket scanner where you can go, if you bought your tickets online, you can go and, I think she just used the ATMs for it, but she covered the ATMs and everything. I didn't do that. I just put the ATMs down and put a wall backing behind it. And I really enjoyed how it came out. So again, the guests can come in if they have bought their tickets online and don't want to interact with people. They can go up and scan their tickets at the ATM and then proceed on to the zoo entrance, which will be downstairs. So as you walk into the building, the zoo entrance, you will take a right or a left depending on if you want to go to the zoo or go to the gift shop. which the gift shop, I believe I have a screenshot of the gift shop at the end of this video, and I am extremely happy with how it turned out because, again, something that I'm also wanting to try and incorporate with this zoo is more signage and more custom signage too, because I know we've had it for a long time. I've just never really done it or used it. I would start to use it and then I would kind of give up on it. So, but with this zoo, I'm wanting to heavily dive into guest education and everything else. So we do have custom education boards and everything that I am still currently working on, but I am extremely happy with how they've come out, and I hope that y'all enjoy them as you see them throughout the zoo. But anyways, that's really all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this new beginning that we are starting, because I said I wanted to start the new year with the new zoo, and that's exactly what we're doing. I am extremely happy with how this project has started to shape up, and I cannot wait for y'all to join me along the journey of Shaded Pines Animal Haven. I will catch y'all in the next one, and if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe and all the other good YouTube stuff. But anyways, I hope y'all have a great rest of your day or week, depending on however you want to take that. But I will talk to y'all in the next one. Bye.